All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
I'm going to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakak Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to all that came out there pushing the word of sincerity and in truth. It's the brothers here from Great Millstone, Atlanta, and we have a quick lesson going into how fire can restore a nation or the world more so, because when the thermonuclear missiles let off, they're going to actually cleanse this place. You know, as it is. Well, when you read the book of Ecclesiastes, if I'm not mistaken, first chapter, you can look around like the 6th verse, how the earth abideth forever. Because in the time of anarchy, you know, these devils are going to push that button. And when they push that button, the thermonuclear missiles are going to be shot out from these different countries. And really, when you watch these different post-apocalyptic movies and different movies of the end, they always show everything is basically a wasteland and there's just smoke constantly ascending to the heavens, and everything is desert. Now, that's going to occur and it's going to happen to America pursuant to Isaiah the 13th chapter. But the full scale of things, these different missiles being hit in Europe, different parts of Africa, different parts of the Middle East more so, Israel, and all throughout the world, different parts of the world, some parts of South America and things of that nature. Those kingdoms or those areas where those different nations actually reside, they're going to be burned up, and those different building structures and all that, the foundational work is going to be blown to smithereens, but it's going to be actually restructured naturally. All right, these different concrete layers that's actually layering all over the world, that's going to be burned up with the fire. All right, so it's going to be when the missiles let off, everything is going to be burned to its neutral or its beginning stages. And what's going to happen when it's going to be basically that earth and that soil is going to restore itself, because the earth has a mechanisms, all right, actually embedded in itself. It knows how to restore itself, all right, from the nutrients that's actually in the earth, the elements and the resources collectively coming together. The earth actually thrives through that, and that's how greenery and vegetation is actually grown. Like, you'll look at certain lands, like certain desert zones and different areas that actually have nothing that actually grows out of it, is low vegetation. All right, it's a lack of water, sometimes extreme sunlight, to the point where some things or most things aren't even able to actually survive. That's why one of the most popular things that's actually grown in the deserts are cactuses, because cactuses actually are equipped. It's how the Most High built those different cactus plants and various other plants too, but that's one of the main ones, of course, everybody's familiar with, is the cactus plant, because it can actually survive, and it's equipped to actually stand and stand durable in those temperatures.
It can actually produce water.
And it can produce water simultaneously.
Other animals like that too.
That's right, like camels. Camels are built and equipped. They're known as if I'm not mistaken, I can't think, like sand horses, something to that degree. Basically, because they travel miles in the desert in the heat, and they have actually water reserves located in their humps.
Okay.
You know, that's why when you fuel them back up, where their humps basically stand up, that's their large reserves. And the Most High actually built basically a water reserve inside of their body. So if they get tired or they drain out, the water that's actually collected and stored in their humps actually diminishes, but they can actually hold that water and retain and travel far distances.
Okay.
You know, but as far as other vegetation and things of that nature, it's not going to exist in America. But in these different lands, of course, it's going to grow back. And we're going to actually prove that with this one video on how fire can restore forest. All right, so I'm going to put it on. And I'll just read this real fast. In March 2013, fire workers conducted a controlled burn to clear underbrush, restore soils, and kickstart regrowth at Georgia's Moody Forest Preserve. Watch how the forest responded over the next 2 months. So yeah, of course, as you can see, that was the fire that actually burned all the wildlife, so to speak, the vegetation in the earth. It burned it to its finest point, you know. And when it burned the grass, it also burned, of course, the outer layer of the soil. It actually cleansed the soil because fire is a very, very powerful element. You know, that's why the Most High Yahweh Shema Shah is known as a consuming fire. So I'm gonna continue on, and also that smoke. The smoke, even though it's toxic to us, actually smoke has a lot of benefits too. Even though it's the releasing of it, and in our environment, you know, too much smoke can be very, very lethal in close human contact. But dealing with the environment of things and how the Most High created things, He created all these things as natural elements. All right, it's everything is necessary, you know, and that's why you got to, you know, each and every one of us, we got to get out that Edomite mental frame of thinking, man. Anything that Most High creates, everything has a benefit to it. Even poison ivy, poisonous plants, everything is built and is fastened a certain way through the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai, because it's all crafted by His hand. All right, it has benefits, you know. But everything that the devil creates, such as these manufacturing plants, these areas that create smog, because this form of smoke and smog, those are two different forms of smoke.
Yeah.
You know, that's why these individuals say you could smoke weed because you burn incense and inhale it. Those are two different types of fumes or smoke that's actually coming out. You can inhale smoke, incense smoke, but you can't inhale weed smoke, as in smoking it and putting it to your smoking it, basically smoking weed, because it actually breaks up your body. All right, and certain smokes actually benefit your body through inhalation. Continuing on. All right, and that's really the main point. It's still growing. And you see how much that's grown in the aftermath of that fire, showing you, like I said before, that fire in its controlled state is a very, very pure and a clean element. The Most High Yahweh Shema Shai, He chose that element as a element of cleaning. Same thing with water. When the earth was filthy, because when you go into the time of Noah, the earth was extremely filthy. It was built up by trashy people. The people of the earth were actually trashing and filthily polluting the earth. All right. And what did the Most High do? He had to cleanse the world. And what did He cleanse it through? Water. Because water is one of the ways anything can be clean. When you clean your clothes, what do you clean it with? Water. When you clean your body out, a lot of people say a lot of times it's sicknesses. Sometimes it's lack of H2O. You need more water in your body to actually flush out certain toxins, to actually absorb your organs and get your flow. That's why it's known as fluid, because fluid goes back to the word fluent or fluidity. Or those really words actually go back to the word fluid, because fluid actually enhances fluidity. Like when you have certain things clogged up in your body, you need certain fluids to actually enhance the fluidity and to have your body flow in a more evenly, in a more collective base. Now that's the water element of purification, and the Most High also has. And matter of fact, I'm gonna get that Numbers, and you can read this, and then we'll read that in a second.
I got it right here.
Yeah, Numbers 31 and 23. You can read it right there. And okay, you can go ahead and then we'll go into the fire.
It's Numbers 31 and 23. It says, "Everything that may abide abide the fire, ye shall make it go through the fire."
Right. it says everything that may abide the fire, you shall make it go through the fire. Continue.
And it shall be clean.
Right, so it shall be clean. So when things are hit with fire, fire isn't destroying it. Well, really it is destroying it, but it's building it. Because the word destroy, when you go into it, D is to take away and destroy is the structure. Whenever you destroy something, a lot of times you break it down to its lowest and its most base point, and then you build back on top of it. That's why back in the day, you would have all kind of garbage, and that's where you get the word Gehenna. Because Gehenna was the area where you actually take all those trash reserves, and that's where you get the concept of hell, of course. You would take all those trash reserves, and you would actually set it outside of the city, and you would burn it all up. And that's where the Greek word Gehenna goes back to, which is the heaps of trash. So why was they burning that trash? So that the earth could be purified. And then a lot of times when you burn it, and they even do that to this day, a lot of trash is actually get burned up. You know, because that's the easiest way to get rid of filth is by burning it. It's even easier than water. Because even when water actually hits certain things, a lot of times, say for instance, you drown somebody's body. According like criminal investigation, when you deal with the CIA, they could still detect that body, man. It's not broken up. It's not broken up to its finest sediments to the point of no detection. Now, when you're dealing with intellectual arsons, individuals that actually burn the body to smithereens or to use use different forms of acid, that form of detection is a little bit more advanced. All right, now, of course, Esau has the technology now where he can actually, look into, certain things to actually crack the code. But finding somebody's body in water is a lot easier than fire, because fire is a more powerful element when it deals with cleansing. Continue. That's why I said fire first.
It says, and it shall be clean.
And it shall be clean. Continue.
Nevertheless, it shall be purified with the water of separation.
Right, so it has to be purified with the water of separation. Now, the Most High Yahweh Shema Shai is making each and every one of us, all of Israel, go through the fire and the water process. You read that in 2 there's the 7th chapter, how there's fire on left and there's water on the next. All right, that goes into the straits that we go through. And also that fire and water is what we actually have to actually be faced with, which is adversity in the cleansing process. Tells you that in Job 17:9, how he that has clean hands shall become stronger and stronger, and how the Most High bring us through the furnace of adversity and hardships. A furnace is somewhere where high temperatures of fire is kept, and the water is the purification that you actually go through when you actually flow through these living waters. Now, our people, the 2/3 of the 2/3 of the nation of Israel, the ones that don't adhere, they're gonna have to go through the fire too. But it's not gonna be this fire because they didn't accept this fire. So the Lord's gonna have to put that physical fire on.
That's right, bro.
That ash, which that's the Hebrew word for fire, and ash is what? Sediments. The Lord is gonna make you niggas ashes. He's gonna put you through that fire, man. Break you up. He's gonna put you through a furnace. Continue.
It says, nevertheless, it shall be purified with the water of separation.
And that's how you're going to be separated, body from spirit. All right, because we're actually being separated. We're killing off the old man, mortifying our members, catching this heat, the heat of hell.
Hey, that's why, if I could say too, that's why the Lord said He's going to make man more precious than gold. Because us being tried in that fire now is going to make us that jewel, man. Just add on to the brother's point.
You continue.
It says, nevertheless, it shall be purified with the water of separation, and all that abideth not the fire, ye shall make go through the water.
Yeah, so those are the two cleansing agents that were actually written. Excuse me, the two elements that was actually written for man to actually become clean. And if you weren't to go through those two elements, you couldn't stand before the Most High. You were deemed unclean. Now all Israel shall be saved, meaning all Israel will be able to stand before the Most High. Of course, there's going to be some to shame and some to glory. some to everlasting contempt, as it is written in Daniel the 12th chapter. But all have to go through a particular cleansing, all right, in order for body to be separated from spirit. And it's going to be actually people. It's going to be actually lands, because people pollute lands. The reason why America, Babylon the Great is going to be destroyed is not because the land is wicked. It's because the people are wicked. The people actually defiled the land. All right, as it is written, the earth is defiled under the habitations thereof. You read that in Isaiah the 24th chapter. Matter of fact, can you go to Hosea 4:1 real fast?
Yeah. This is Hosea 4:1. It says, "Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. For the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land."
Continue. See, the Lord has a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, the ones that inhabit the land. Continue.
It says, "Because there is no truth,
Yep.
nor mercy, nor knowledge of the Most High in the land.
Continue.
By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood touches blood."
Right. So the land is defiled by killing, lying, and swearing. And the Lord didn't make the land for our sakes for the land. The Lord made the land for our sakes.
Yep.
That's why we're known as Jerusalem, because we represent the land. The land also represents us, but we are the embodiment of the land. The reason why the land becomes so great is because of the people that stand on top of it. And of course, what's under it, which is what? Tilled and mined and structured from the ones that actually stand on top of it. And the individuals that actually stand on top of that land, they can either build it for good or they can build it for evil by dealing with what? Imagination and elements. That's why back in the day they would have, so-called alchemy, certain witches and warlocks that would tap into dark magic through their imagination, and they would use all the elements and all the powers that they could collect, gold, silver, different technology, and they would use it for evil. They're doing that to this day.
Yep.
Through this different witchcraft, because all this witchcraft it comes from it's so-called supernatural, but it comes from a lot of these elements too. Esau puts witchcraft on you through what? Technology. Through material things. And that's why the Lord He's gonna wipe this whole place clean, because witchcraft totally defiled this place.
That's right.
And that fire, see, the Most High has one element. Like I said before, two elements, but that one element is good enough to clean up everything. It ain't gonna be like we're gonna be actually trying to rebuild this place. Strip up the cement. Break down these different buildings, building for building. This whole place is built upon sorcery, man. When you look at these different cities from bird's eye view, like DC and Florida, a lot of them have witchcraft symbols on top of them, man.
Yep.
Different Baphomet symbols. This land is built on blood sacrifices of the Native Americans. It's filthy. Homosexual adultery. The so-called founding fathers stamped their names. They staked their flag in the earth. So the Lord said He's just going to cleanse and burn up this whole land. The Lord can make a new America, so-called North America, better than North America. He can make a whole new earth. The Lord actually, even when you go into these different sciences that look light years ahead, they look through telescopes and they look at in outer space. They're outer space researchers. They say it's multiple super Earths, man. Earths that's 3, 4, 5 times the size of this place.
Right.
Better, way more advanced, more resourcefully stocked up.
And if you look at it too, really, Earth, the Earth that we're on now is a super Earth. That's why Esau haven't even discovered all of it yet, man. Because the Most High didn't give you the ability to.
That's right. But we'll continue on.
Isaiah.
That's really the main point. We'll jump to Isaiah 9:4.
No.
9:5, excuse me.
It's Isaiah 9:5. It says, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood."
Right, so the ancient world battles were with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, meaning that the different warriors would come together and they would be clanking swords back and forth, stabbing with spear or daggers or javelins, or you would have the archers on top of the castles for the invaders. They would a lot of times shoot the archery weapons, sometimes dip them in the oil and the fire, and they would shoot them off. But this is way more advanced than that. That's ancient world. That's ancient style of warfare. This is advanced technological warfare. Back in the 40s, they dropped the hydrogen bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's nuclear now. The hydrogen bomb is old technology, and that had enough power to wipe out cities, man.
Yeah.
Those people are still jacked up to this day over there.
Yep. Radiation.
Yep, radiation poison. Different people looking like damn hybrids and things. But this nuclear fire is gonna be that much more powerful. And when you actually look at nuclear warfare, you'll watch these different movies and shows, and a lot of people believe that actually people will mutate. Certain gorillas. Like you'll watch this movie or the show, I forget what it's called on Netflix, The 100.
Oh yeah, The 100.
And they'll have super gorillas on there and shit like that. People with basically a split face. Half of it is mutated, and the other half is human because of the radiation poison. And radiation does do that. But the Most High, through the spirit of Yahweh Shai, he's going to actually retain a lot of those elements, from actually destroying the earth to that degree. Because it can get that disastrous when you're dealing with nuclear waste and things of that nature. Getting in the water, it destroys the plants, it destroys, it mutates fishes and things, birds, all those different things. When it inhales and affects, it actually creates a lot of genetic defects. But you'll continue on.
It says, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire.
And what's that burning and fuel of fire? Those missiles, man.
Those missiles.
And that's why the Lord is going to catch us up to the heavens, and he's going to bring us down. Because that blast wave, the radius of those missiles being let off, it's going to hit everything. It's going to dry up waters. It tells you that, if I'm not mistaken, in Isaiah the 13th chapter. Now, when you're dealing with going back to the power and the purity of fire, when you deal with the water region, all these different oceans, they have all kind of gold and silver underneath. They say over there in those glacier lands, different parts of Antarctica, north, the different poles, north to south pole, things of that nature, those different very icy regions. They say under there it's all kind of advanced, resources that's being preserved by that ice that's on top of it. So when that fire is let off, it's gonna clean up a lot of those waters. A lot of these waters is gonna be dried up. And what's gonna be underneath? Gold, riches. So the hell, even with they say is really more riches in the water than on earth.
Yeah.
Why? Because there's more water that actually. What is this? The earth like 70% water, something like that, 65% water.
Yeah.
Majority of water, And if it's majority of water and the resource under the water is earth, and that water is actually doing what? Cleansing, So at the end of the day, that's the power of this fire. This fire is going to be set to actually build the world back up upon, better principles and better people. Because majority of these people are gonna die, man. Majority of degenerates, all these different idolatrous cities, these so-called 7 wonders of the world, these different cities that's built upon witchcraft and demons, these Buddhist temples, or these Hindu temples, these Islamic mosques. Over there in Europe, you have so-called St. Peter's Square, but that's really Satan's Square, man. These different leaning towers of Pisa, the Statue of Liberty, all these so-called monumental structures, all those are going to be burnt by this fire, pursuant to 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter. And we'll go into that. Still a little bit more on that, Isaiah, or that's really it? Okay, we'll just jump on to this 2 Peter 3:10.
In 2 Peter 3:10, it says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise.
The heaven represents the rulership. And going back to what the scripture the brother had earlier, it says that the earth shall abide forever. Can you read that? You got that still?
Ecclesiastes.
Yeah, the first chapter.
Yeah.
I think around like 6,
4.
4.
It's Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 4. It says, "One generation passeth away, and another generation coming, but the earth abideth forever."
Right, so we don't have to worry about the earth being destroyed, fully blown up. The scripture says the earth abideth forever. And what the Lord is going to do, the Lord is going to excite this war, and He's going to excite them to push the button. Because if you really want to be technical, this devil's technology is advancing so highly that he will have the technology to blow the whole world up. You know?
But it don't fit according to prophecy.
It don't fit according to the prophecy. You know, thermonuclear missiles will get so advanced to the point where this place won't be inhabited after. So the Lord is getting to a certain point. He's going to muster up the battles, and He's going to have them rain fire down upon one another. You know? Hey, and even when the missiles let off, the Lord has the power. Yahweh Shema Shai has the power to direct the missiles. The scripture says that the Lord's Spirit is going to be inside of those missiles. Because He's the one that's manipulating this war. Ultimately, playing on the hearts of kings. It tells you that in Proverbs how the Lord's exercises his judgment in the mindset of these kings. All right, we'll go back to that, Peter.
It says, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat.
That fervent heat is going to be that fire. And what's going to be the elements? All of this matter. Scripture says the fashion of this world fadeth away. So everything that's been fashioned and built by the world standard of view is going to be burned up. And I have this one quick thing I wanted to go into, because this is a beautiful explanation of 2 Peter the 3rd chapter, where it says that the elements thereof shall be burnt with fervent heat. And this is exactly the model of how fire is consumed. You know, the physical properties. And you have the heat, which the heat is going to be what? The missiles. You have the fuel, which is what? The people. You people are going to be known as the fuel for the fire. As well as the different, you're going to have all kind of gas reserves. You're going to have certain oil mines, like hitting certain missiles in certain parts of the Middle East. It sits on top of a lot of oil rigs. And when you see those oil rigs that be on fire, that fire lasts for a long time. Because that fire is constantly channeling and revving up from that oil. And oil it's a lot of oil that be in that's in the earth. So what does that do? That actually concentrates the pressure and it heightens it. Because certain things can actually dim down a fire, and some things can build it up, such as oxygen, fuel, and heat. And that's the chain reaction that actually builds, And the oxygen is, of course, going to be the elements and things of that nature. Really the physical oxygen that's actually going to that's around us. That's why when certain people, certain fires let off in certain schools and things of that nature, it's a certain way that you position that fire extinguisher, because really you want to actually neutralize the oxygen of the fire so that it can dim down. That's really it's really an art to it, because it's the oxygen that actually complements the fire of the whatever when it's being burned up. If you're in a school or you're in a building and things of that nature. And like I said, it's going to be the fuel. The individuals that's actually here are going to be the fuel for the fire. And it's all pursuant to the prophecy. Continue on.
It says, I'll reread that again. It says, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up.
And what's the work? It's nothing but wickedness, man. So when the kingdom of heaven is built, it's going to be built on this same earth. But it's not going to be built on top of it. On top of the wicked earth, this earth has to be removed, fully removed. Scriptures speak about in the law how we have to destroy the idols, rid the cities of evil.
Because there's so much wickedness that's taking place here that you can't build on top of it. It's better to just be left alone.
Right, and you have already pre-recorded events that occurred in the scriptures of places that actually just got destroyed, man. Sodom and Gomorrah.
Sodom and Gomorrah. You
have this area of Pompeii, and you can watch the movie Pompeii. If brothers get the chance, watch that movie. where the volcanic destruction let off because they built the city right there by the volcano Pompeii as a monument, like it was a good sight to see. Not believing that volcano was going to let off. Yeah, they didn't believe it was going to erupt again. And the Most High, through the Spirit, he ignited that volcano. Now you had archaeologists that did their research and they went and looked into the sediments and things of that nature, and they said they seen all kind of homosexual idol paintings, all kind of, they was heavy in the bestiality, all kind of filth, and they were also big in Colosseum games, basically getting Jake to fight each other to death, and the Most High burned that city to smithereens. So that's judgment, and those are judgments on small levels and examples, as it is written, making Sodom. Matter of fact, you can read that in Jude, and we'll Jude the first chapter. You done with this one?
Yeah, it was not like that.
Okay.
Jude 1 and
Even as Sodom and Gomorrah.
Let's see. 7.
Mm-hmm.
Jude 1 and 7. It says, even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them, in like manner.
Yeah, the 5 cities in Sodom and Gomorrah. All right, all of them suffered the overthrow. Continue.
It says, in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh.
Yeah, homosexuality, lesbianism, like America. America takes the step further. The scripture says in Revelation 18, this place ascended to the heavens. The wickedness of this place. Now you could become a transgender. You got transgender couples. A man that changed himself to a woman and a woman changed herself to a man. They in a relationship together. That blows Sodom and Gomorrah out of the water, man.
Okay.
Sodom and Gomorrah didn't have that type of wicked technology. So this place has to face triple the amount of destruction. Really times 100 than Sodom and Gomorrah. Because those are 5 cities. How many cities you got in America? Hundreds.
Okay.
You got Sin City over there in Vegas. Nothing but filthiness goes on, man. Legal prostitution. It's a lot of sex trafficking. You want to say something?
Yeah, when you look into that word Sodom, it actually means burning.
Mm-hmm.
So the Lord has specific names, and it has a meaning to it.
Right, and also you get that word sodomy.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you'll have certain individuals that'll get judged, and they'll get judged for sodomy, or they'll call individuals sodomites, because the definition of sodomy is the act of anal sex. So those individuals in Sodom were known to pop each other up the butt, man, up the rectum.
Yeah.
Continue.
It says, in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, and set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal life.
Yeah, so they were set forth as an example. The word example, you have the word sample in the midst of the word example. So that's a little sample of when wickedness is set free, and it's heavily invited. That's what happens, judgment. Because that was a major tourist attraction. Everybody was attracted to Sodom because they could go there and be freaks and lesbians, man. All right, it was no legal, it wasn't illegal. You could go to that city and you'd be protected by wicked rights. So if your husband or somebody a wife would actually come there and see you exercising wickedness, they couldn't judge you there, and you would be protected by the powers that be. And it's the same thing here in America. You can't judge a woman if she just breaks up with you and turns into a lesbian, or just turns into a straight whore, wants to be a porn star. She could be married to you today and be a straight up porn star tomorrow.
Yeah.
She could sniff coke. She could have been in your house sewing. You put all your energy into making her a housewoman. The next day she could just turn into a straight a slut bag, man. Just a porn star letting 7-8 guys run a train on her, and you can't say a damn thing, man. So this place has a heavy judgment awaiting it, man. But that's really the main point. It's still a little bit more on that.
No, it was good.
Yeah, that's the main point. Just to go into we really wanted to touch on really the power of these elements and how this fire is going to actually cleanse the world, man. Because this world is occupied and built upon filthy pollution, and Yahweh Shema Shah is going to cleanse this place and make it that this is going to be the new heaven and the new earth where we're going to dwell, where everything is going to be built upon right. The plants are going to be able to live and thrive. The animals are going to actually have areas set for them to actually live, and they're going to actually live around us too. It tells you that in Isaiah.
Yep.
But you know that's a topic for another time. But that's just the main point. So we're gonna end it by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, by Hashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders.